Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. All right, super interesting article that I have to share with you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Before I get into this, I did want to say thank you to everyone for your continued support. I do really appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I do a lot of interesting content. Well, I think it's interesting. I hope you guys do as well. I do a couple different prayer readings, I do some positive news, I do some lifestyle stuff. This is my channel and I just want to look back and be able to scroll through, see some good positive stuff that went on through the years. I want to be able to see my child growing up and also give you guys a little bit of joy throughout your days, because I think that's really lacking right now, especially with mainstream news and things of that sort. I also like to give out a little bit of the more conservative side, but conservative truth that doesn't necessarily get talked about in mainstream media. So I'm covering a news article right now that revolves around President Donald Trump and some drama that is still going on in the White House regarding Republicans and all this craziness. So let me read this through to you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment down below. Let's see, what color shirt are you wearing? Answer that to me right now. First thing that came to my mind. Mine's pink. What color shirt are you wearing? All right. Okay, Donald Trump may be gone from Washington, but House Republicans who hope to retake control of the lower chamber in next year's elections continue to nurse his long-standing grievances against the American intelligence community. Oh goodness. At last week's House hearing on the top threats to national security, Republican after Republican grilled intelligence agency leaders not about Russia, China, or even North Korea, but about a series of niche issues with which only ardent consumers of right-wing news sources would be knowledgeable of. The lawmakers made it clear that they had little trust in America's security agencies. I mean, that shows a lot right there, doesn't it? I'm telling you, if an FBI agent came up and asked to talk to me, there's no way in the world I would talk to them without a lawyer present. I don't care what they want to know. This is Chris Stewart of Utah, who's a lifelong Republican appointed by Trump. Huge Trump supporter. This is what he said. That's his quote. For most of the post-World War II era, Republicans embraced the national security state, and particularly the FBI, a law enforcement agency whose members, by their own accounts, have tended to lean right in their politics. The Trump presidency changed that, though. Under FBI investigation for much of his presidency, Trump referred to FBI agents as scum, who destroyed the lives of people and branded as rats, people who cooperated with law enforcement. His Republican allies followed his lead and continue to keep this mindset of the FBI agents. Now, even with Trump gone, his skepticism of intelligence agencies, including the FBI, which collects intelligence on domestic terrorism threats, appears to be holding on in Republican circles. They express views widely held by the party's base. In fact, in December, in a poll, 39% of respondents agreed that a deep state was working to undermine Trump. Of course. Majorities of both Republicans and Fox News viewers responding to the poll agreed that the assessment, as did nearly half of white men and rural residents, both strong GOP demographics. House Republicans have sought to continue the fight over what they see as wrongful FBI conduct during the investigation into whether the Trump campaign colluded with Russia. And they also expressed concern that the intelligence community's involvement in President Joe Biden's approach to fighting domestic extremisms equates to targeting conservatives. What do you guys think? Let me know. All right, so now this is going to get into the House versus the Senate. Those themes have been far less prevalent among Republican senators who are elected statewide and therefore represent more diverse constituencies. A day before the House session, Republican members of the Senate Intelligence Committee struck a much different tone at their own Worldwide Threats hearing. The intelligence community that I have come to know through my now 10.5 years on this committee is one that's made up of patriotic, dedicated professionals, some of the finest men and women who serve in our government and who measure their success and their failure in terms of how many Americans they've kept. This is said from Marco Rubio of Florida, who's the ranking Republican on the committee. Many of those Americans who are kept safe do not even know they've been kept safe and what they've been kept safe from because of the nature of the work that you do. He said, I hope we will all remember that. I know everyone in this committee does. Rubio's counterpart in the House, who's Devin Nunes of California, began the hearing a day later by telling intelligence agency leaders, including the CIA Director William Burns and National Intelligence Director Avril Haines, he said, I hope you plan on spending a reasonable amount of time in upcoming years on activities other than investigating conservatives and spying on Republican presidential campaigns. Yes, please keep us safe. Nunes told Wray that Americans need to have confidence that the premier law enforcement agency is honest, politically neutral, and quickly fixes mistakes. Unfortunately, we don't have much confidence that that's being done currently. He said that the FBI resorted to stonewalling, obstruction, half-truths, and, in most cases, outright lies. Republicans on his committee investigated allegations of abuse in the Trump-Russia investigation. Sorry. Michael Steele, who was a spokesman for former House Speaker John Boehner, said every president, to a certain extent, remakes his or her party in his own image. He left Congress in 2015, 2 years before Trump took office. Because most House Republicans are elected in heavily Republican districts, Steele said their main concerns are primary challenges. And the way to win a GOP primary these days is to be as pro-Trump as possible, he said. Trump laudably upended some of the unpopular aspects of the Washington bipartisan foreign policy consensus, Steele said, but he also abandoned Republicans and their traditional focus on building alliances and engaging with the world in a realistic way. We have to be serious about the threats that we face, erasing China, probably most importantly, and it's hard to do that if you're focused on conspiracy theories against our own law enforcement agencies, he said. Offering a thoughtful and credible critique of President Biden's foreign policy is critical to winning the House in the midterms. The senior Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee focused most of their eyes on Wray, the FBI director, accusing the Bureau of lying about surveillance abuses, failing to take Antifa seriously, and going soft on left-wing agitators who attacked the police. They also professed deep concern about political spying on the FBI's new focus on domestic terrorism in the wake of the January 6th Capitol riots. Man, this just continues to go into he said, she said, that sort of thing, going back and forth on different Republican, different GOP senators that are saying that they don't trust the FBI and that they need to get out of the political sense of taking one side. They need that neutral outlook. GOP is still standing up for Trump, which also does confuse me though, because why did some of them vote to get him impeached? Obviously it didn't pass, but that it's just so confusing. I still feel like, who can I trust? Who can I really look to? I don't know. Do you guys have an answer? Can you guys, do you recommend anyone? Do you recommend anyone that I can trust? Because I don't know. I am so back and forth. I read an article and someone is doing something great. They sound like they're sticking up for the GOP. They sound like, you know, they have that Republican conservative focus, and yet they go and do something that totally disrespects that side. So I don't know. I'm open. So let me know your guys' thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please take care. I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks. I appreciate ya. Have a great day, all right? Bye-bye.